To the channel. Today's date is November 22nd, 2024. And today we'll be talking about MicroStrategy and the strategy that it has with Bitcoin, which we believe is a complete fraud. Let's get straight into it. So before we get into MicroStrategy, we first go over the market as we always do. The Dow Jones is up 354. The Nasdaq is up 39. The the S&P is up 21.19. The 10-year yield is down a little bit today. As we say, that's something that we always watch. As normal, the market keeps going up. Everybody knows I'm a super bear, but it just keeps going up. But the beautiful part that I know, that when it starts coming down, it comes down so fast, and I'm willing to keep earning my 4.5% on T-bills, which I believe is safe, and I believe this is the most dangerous market that we have. So today, we're going to be talking about something that might be a little bit more difficult and a little bit more technical, but it's MicroStrategy. And we only shorted a stock one time before in my life. I like to buy companies and I like to hold them for a long time. That's the game that I play. I'm not a trader, but we shorted once before, and we will short MicroStrategy, and we'll get into and tell you why. So here's MicroStrategy stock. Yesterday, it was, it's been blowing. Started the year at about $50 a share. It reached a high of 500 and something. Someone announced yesterday that they were going to short it, and it came back. And as you can see, it's rising back again. But I believe MicroStrategy, this is how I know we're in a bubble when things like this go on too. This is what happened in 2000 when you had all this crazy stuff going on. But this is probably worse. This is worse than WorldCom. This is worse than Enron. This right here, those were they were buying up companies and rolling them up and then doing things with their earnings because they bought these companies. But this right here, this is the most, it's not fraud, I don't believe. I don't believe it's fraud, but I believe it's really dumb investors that are buying into this. And we're going to show you there's actually big companies that is buying into this. And here's this little guy sitting in his office coming on, making videos, just talking about it, doing his own little analysis. And I pretty much say it's like corporate fraud. So let's talk about why MicroStrategy. Well, first, the company, the business, it sells software and services and stuff like that. Garbage business, doesn't do anything. Look at this. Look at its earnings. It's negative $2.21. Its PE is 201. Its forward PE is negative 892, which means that they're going to keep losing money and going to keep losing more money. We'll go down to their earnings. Here's their earnings for 2024 so far, and here's what predicted. They won't even show it because they're probably not even given any projections, because the company is a one big fraud, in my opinion. I mean, and what they're doing is just so grimy. So what they're doing and what we're talking about here, they call it their 2021 plan. So as of right now, Bitcoin owns about $38 billion. I mean, not Bitcoin, but MicroStrategy owns about $38 billion in Bitcoin. And as you can see here, they got a market cap of 99 billion. So their business that they own doesn't do anything, just a raggedy business. But they got this $38 billion in Bitcoin, 38 billion, which they're adding more every day. And they got a market cap of 99 billion. Before we go into the details of what MicroStrategy is doing, let me tell you what I believe investors are thinking. So they're selling these convertible. They're selling these convertible notes that we are going to in the matter of fact. Let's just go ahead and go right into it, and then I'll explain what investors believe. So they announced their 2021 plan, and this 5.1%. The first bullet, the 5.1% BTU yield is straight garbage. It's what they believe in selling shares and then going in and using the capital to buy Bitcoin. And by the way, this is their last quarterly earnings report, third quarter earnings report, where they announced all this. So they announced they're selling 21 billion at the market equity offers. So that means they're selling shares to people to buy And then they're going to take that 21 billion and buy Bitcoin. And they also announced a target of raising 21 billion using fixed income securities. And we'll go into both of those. So they say they're focused to increase value generated by shareholders by leveraging the digital transformation of capital. Today, we announced our strategic goal of raising 42 billion of capital over the next 3 years. So that's telling people that own Bitcoin out there, they're basically almost creating a floor underneath Bitcoin because they're announcing they're going to buy 42 billion worth in the next 3 years. So they're announcing to basically they're going to be buyers, regardless of what the price is. I mean, and I don't understand why someone do that, but it's their main asset, and they are keeping the floor under. And to me, that I don't know. That's legal, but I don't know if it should be. And they call themselves a treasury company, whatever that means. So, so in the third quarter was another transformational quarter for Microstrategy. It raised 2.1 billion in equity and debt. Our proven track record of using intelligent leverage serves as a foundation to execute our strategy 3 years in the 2021 plan. So they did sell over the last 2 days, they did sell some. So let's talk about what these notes are. Today announced the pricing and offering of a 2.6 billion principal amount at a zero convertible shares due in 2029. So that I don't have to read all of that. So that was on the 20th. They announced that they were selling 2.6 of convertible shares at zero interest. So the people that buy these convertible notes, they're going to give them two options in the future, and the notes don't come due until 2029. They saying that you can either one, you could take micro shares, or two, you can take cash. So I say, oh wow, I can't lose. So basically you give them $1 billion, and in 2029, you can either purchase $1 billion at the price that they had set here, which they believe that obviously that their stock is going to be higher, or we'll give you your $1 billion in cash back. So I believe, and let's look at some of the companies that is going for this as we talk about it. So Alliance, a big German insurance company, purchased 24% of the 2.6 billion. And here's some of the other companies that bought into it. I love BlackRock. They brought 1% of it. So all these big companies are investing in these convertible shares, which by the way pay zero. And which by the way, Bitcoin pays zero. So they're buying up all these assets in Bitcoin that doesn't have any yield. Like I can go buy UPS right now. I think it's a fairly valued stock. They pay a 5% dividend. And plus, they got a business that operates. Bitcoin just sits there, it trades. Bitcoin is what Benjamin Graham will probably call the epitome of speculation. Bitcoin doesn't do anything. I believe in the what's underneath Bitcoin. I believe it's going to change and transfer the world, the blockchain. I believe that's one day in the future. That's how we're going to pay for everything. Because it's secure. Probably can't. It's way secure, way more secure than our credit cards and our bank accounts. So I do believe in blockchain, but Bitcoin. The only way to make money in Bitcoin is the hope that somebody else come along to purchase at a higher price. So we got these big companies, buying into these notes, and I don't understand. And like I said, so they sold them on the 20th of November of 2024. They're convertible on the 29th. So I believe these investors think, well, I don't have to buy Bitcoin. I can just go and buy MicroStrategy, which obviously if Bitcoin keeps going up, they're going to keep going up. The only problem with that is they only own $38 billion in Bitcoin, and they got a $99 billion market cap. So you're paying more. I mean, you're not getting as much. But what they think though is that if Bitcoin do fall, they don't have to fall with Bitcoin, but they're going to own MicroStrategy stock. So they convert it over to MicroStrategy stock. But what I think is going to happen when the time comes and all this big bubble burst, which is going to include Bitcoin, Bitcoin is going to go way down. I believe Bitcoin is going to go way down. And so when they do, and because that's their only asset, their company doesn't do anything, which we'll go over in a little bit. When they go to him, I don't believe MicroStrategy is going to have the money. I don't believe out of this $42 billion that they're paying, if Bitcoin go back to 10,000, they're not going to have $42 billion to pay these people. So if at 38 billion, let's say, and I don't know if the in the 38 billion as of right now, if some of this new money is counting against that 38 billion, but if they had 38 billion plus 42 billion is only 80 billion. And so, and if Bitcoin go from 100 down to 10,000, which would make the math easy, so their Bitcoin worth will go from 80 billion down to 8 billion. They're not going to have the money, and they say, well, you know what? And so their stock is probably going to tank. Their stock is going to take it and say, okay, well, now that it's below the asking price that we had, that you, because when you buy a convertible, they normally set the price that day of what the convertible is. And I believe in their quarterly report, they said that the convertibles was at $168. But if MicroStrategy is selling below that, and in 2029, which it will bust by 2029, that's about guaranteed. When it comes down, and if they go to them and say, if Alliance go to them and say, well, we bought 25% of your 2.1 billion, which is about $500 million, we want our $500 million because that's what you said. I believe MicroStrategy is going to have to tell them we don't have the money. We don't have the money. That's what I believe is going to happen in this this Bitcoin BTCU yield is a real farce. It's a farce. I kind of explained that earlier. I was trying to find on here where they talked about the price of the convertible shares, but I don't see it. But we can go over a little bit of their business. Their total revenue was $116 million, a decrease of 10% year over year. This business is garbage. We won't go through the rest of it, but it's garbage, and they're hoping to make money off of Bitcoin. Their operating expense increased by 514 million to 301% increase. The net loss. Yeah, the net loss besides the digital were 412 compared to 33 million. It's this whole thing is a fart, and it's cash and cash equivalent. They only got $46 million. This MicroStrategy is to me on the borderline of almost being criminal. And when Bitcoin falls, the Bitcoin bubble will burst. The technology underneath Bitcoin will exist, but I don't see no way that this is going to end good. And this is what happens when you get in big bubbles and people start speculating like crazy. These are the type of things that happens. And when it comes out and when it all blows up, MicroStrategy will be the storyline that is talked about. And by the way, we will short. Once we think that Bitcoin has hit a peak, which it might be, it's about to go over 100,000 probably today. And once we think the MicroStrategy's stock has hit a peak, we will short it. Only thing I'm hoping, I looked on Charles Schwab today, and they don't charge you a percentage to short it, which sometimes they'll charge when it's a real risky stock, they'll charge you a percentage to short it, but they're not charging on this one. This will be a stock that I real short. I looked into the options. I never buy puts. I only sell puts and I only sell calls. But if you can imagine, they wanted like $45 to short, to buy a put against MicroStrategy in December of 2025 at $50. At $50. So to short 10 shares is like $45,000. I'm sorry, to buy puts against it. And that's 1 year, and it's at 400, and they won't I'm sorry, it was $5, $4.50, not 45. At 50 cents, it was 45 to do 300 next year. That was $300 a share, and it's over 400. But that shows you how much people want, or how much people are willing to pay for these options, because they think the stock is so garbage and it will go back down below that. But you can short it. I probably won't short a lot because it's not my game, and it might be a real volatile stock. But once I think it reached its peak, this stock will be short, because this is one big fraud. And to be completely honest with you, I would not be surprised to see the CEO go to prison, because this is normally what happens. The Enron people, they went to prison, and this is a fraud. But this is not. I don't think, because they laid it out so clearly that and told you what they were doing. I think that's on the investors that are investing money into this. And as you can see, it's big companies doing it. Even BlackRock, company I love, may say maybe they know something I don't know. But this is very, very easy to predict, very easy to see. If this video was helpful, please share, please like, please subscribe. Good luck investing, and we out.